Hello, and welcome to the second annual Rotary Club of Martha's Vineyard Review. I know that many of you saw last year's show, and it went so well that we at the local Rotary Club decided to give you a second update, and that's why we're saying the second annual review. To my left is Stephanie Burke, our current president, and to my right is Linda Jackson, a very active Rotarian who is running a very interesting project. The first thing I want to do is set it up for Stephanie to give you an overview of the kinds of things that she's interested in reporting.
Thank you, Dick.
You're welcome.
So I'm very happy to be here and give you an update on what's going on with our Rotary Club this year for 2017-18. And one of the first things that we've done this year is to finish up something that was initiated last year, and that's establishing an endowment trust fund that will be a 501c3 through the Rotary Foundation. And that's very, very important for people who would like to make contributions to all of the charities that we support here in a fashion that would be tax exempt and would be good for people to be able to donate money. So that's number one.
You say donate money, right?
Or, yes.
People are allowed to donate money.
They're allowed to donate money,
Okay,
yes.
did you get that?
Yes.
Donate the money.
Something that I would like to focus on this year is to establish a community volunteer corps. We've already had the beginnings of it. We've had some people sign up when we took part in a volunteer/job fair at the high school in the springtime. And this would enable community members to work alongside Rotarians and also to bring projects to us that they think are worthy to be able to see them accomplished. And they don't necessarily have to be Rotarians themselves, but it's a way for people to join with us and to work on community service projects in the community that are hands-on projects.
Would that be Martha's Vineyard specific?
Yes.
Okay.
This is specifically for Martha's Vineyard. Our Rotary Club raises money every year through a number of different fundraisers, and those funds are distributed primarily to other organizations who are charitable organizations, so 501c3s. And this, the Community Volunteer Corps would give us a chance to participate more in hands-on projects in the community, not just distributing money. So our Rotary Club has an active youth exchange program, which is something that I have a special place in my heart for. And we provide opportunities for students to go overseas for short-term or long-term exchanges. And every year we have at least one, sometimes two students who are going abroad. The long-term exchanges are for the entire school year. It's a complete cultural immersion, and I think it's very, very important for young people to be able to have the experience to live in a community with other cultures and other languages, and it's part of embracing the world and being able to understand that living in a small community here on Martha's Vineyard, that there are so many different ways that you can live in the world and different kinds of things that you can do.
Speaking of other cultures,
yes,
and other parts of the world, Linda, tell us about your project.
Yes, Dick. So, hi everyone, my name's Linda, and I became a Rotarian about 3 years ago, so I'm rather new in comparison to my board members. And in 2015, I had the opportunity to travel to Peru and participate in a project at that time with a club, the San Borja Club, that has been working together with Martha's Vineyard Rotary for about 20 years. And I fell in love with the culture and the people, and was able to come back, and I raised enough interest together with other club members to form a committee, and we now have a Peru committee.
Now you just got back, right, from
I did.
extensive trip. Now, what did you get done this time?
So this time in June of 2017, thanks to a longtime islander, Katie Johnson, who's a wonderful woman who's had long-term connections in Peru. She and I were able to travel together 1 year ago, and during that trip, she helped me identify for our Rotary Club a project in a village of Patacancha.
How do you say that?
Patacancha.
Patacancha.
Yes.
Okay, and where is it?
So that village is, it's a mountain village. It's in the Sacred Valley of Peru,
How high up?
and it's at about 13,000 feet.
Do you get hypoxia? Hypoxia, do you get that up there?
You can, and people do. I actually take medication in order to travel safely and comfortably at those altitudes.
Okay.
But it's a wonderful traditional Peruvian village, and we basically went to their community building, which is the first community building that the village has had. And the building was built and it was winterized. They had electricity, but they are operating with a dirt floor. And finishing the floor and having a cement floor was a project that was identified.
Big project, right?
Yes, it is a
Yeah.
big project. And
How
it's
are the houses? Do the houses, are they two-story houses, one-story?
No, the houses are one story. The entire community, men, women, and children, build the houses with basically bricks and they make the bricks from water and sand from the ground.
Wow, so it's pretty basic stuff.
It is.
Right.
But the reason why this community room is so important to the community as a whole is it's the one place inside during their winter months that they can worship together, they can work together, children can play safely inside, women can weave, and the elders can meet.
So you brought Rotary into that scenario, and it's working out well, correct?
Yes, it is working out well. I mean, this most recent trip in June, this past June, I was able to connect with the local Rotary Club in Cusco. It's the Rotary Club of Inca Cusco, and together with their help, they actually provided our Rotary Club with a proposal to complete the cement floor. And when I traveled to Peru, we had already seen the proposal and translated it, and President Berna Caballero of that club actually met me at the airport, and I was able to stay at his home with his family, and they provided transportation, and together we traveled to Patacancha and met the elders and were able to tell them that we were starting the project.
Wow, that's really interesting, boy. You know, that traveling at altitude is something else, huh?
It is, but it's so beautiful, and it was so worthwhile. And thereafter, we were able to go and buy 150 bags of cement. So I was able to do that together with the Rotary Club president with the funds that our club raised, and purchased the cement. And then the Inca Cusco Club delivered the cement.
So you're right in there with them, doing the job, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. And folks, that's the way Rotary is. Both Stephanie and Linda are good representatives of people get in there and do the work. And Linda, you know, we're all very proud of you for doing what you're doing.
Thank you.
And you represent us, and we're really very happy about that. Stephanie, anything else on your list there that the folks
I
would like to know?
A couple of things, but I also would just like to say that our club has had a lengthy history of relationships and projects in Peru, and so this is carrying on that tradition, which is just terrific, and we're very, very happy about that.
Right.
So thank you. Yes. So I'd just like to touch on a couple of things. We will be having someone speaking about membership because one of our priorities this year is to encourage many of the young professionals in our community to come and see what Rotary is about and meet us and join us if they wish. And one thing that we've newly established starting in September is an evening meeting once a month instead of a luncheon meeting. We normally meet for lunch on Wednesdays, in order to allow people who can't make that lunchtime meeting, we are going to have an evening meeting once a month. So we hope that people will, as the word is spread will come and join us. And our first evening meeting will be Wednesday, September 6th. Also, I'd just like to mention that we have an Interact Club at our high school, which is the high school age Rotary Club, and they are dedicated to community service. And it's a growing group, and we look forward to some of their new projects they'll be doing this year. They did several last year. They're also going to be joining in with some of the other organizations on the island who work with young people. And this group actually came out of many of the young people's experiences at a Rotary Youth Leadership Award weekend that really inspired them to come together and work together on community service in their own communities. The one last thing I'd just like to touch on is that I did go to the International Convention in Atlanta in June with a group of us from Rotary, and I know we're going to have a full report on that shortly, but I just wanted to say that it was very inspiring.
Sure was.
It was extremely inspiring. There were
I
people,
call it an eye-opener.
Yeah. There were people from all over the world. There were from countries that I hadn't even heard of, from small countries. Everyone working on projects in their community, wanting to share what they're doing, wanting to partner with other Rotary clubs. And so you will be hearing more about that coming shortly.
So before we end this segment, I'd like to go back to the evening meeting at the barn at what time?
5:30 to 7:30.
Okay, 5:30 to 7:30 at the barn.
Wednesday, September 6th.
Wednesday, September 6th. And that's an open invitation to all of you folks that watch this show. So I want to thank Stephanie and Linda for pitching in. And that's what Rotary's all about. And now guess what we got? We got the Atlanta crew. And a young woman to my right has joined us. Could you introduce yourself?
Yes, my name's Colleen Garrett, and I've been a Rotarian for 10 or 11 years now.
Stephanie, how long have you been a Rotarian?
I've been a Rotarian since the 1990s.
You notice that Stephanie is still here with us, and she's got some good stuff. I've been a Rotarian for a lot longer time, and we're not going to go into that. Stephanie, you wanted to add on to the exchange thing about the kids coming and going?
Just a little bit, because I think it really ties in with a lot of our international relationships that we've developed for projects and things like that. So for our youth exchange program, in the last few years we've had young people from Germany, from South Korea, we've had students from Japan. This year we actually have a young lady coming from Japan. She'll be arriving this week, and she's coming for a full school year, and that's very exciting. One of our own from this community went to Japan last year and spent the entire school year there. And our other exchange student from our community last year went to an island off the coast of Spain, Tenerife, and spent the school year there. There are always interesting connections and overlaps with these students, which Colleen is going to elaborate on. So.
Yeah, stories come out of these kinds of things. You want to tell us a story?
Yes.
Good.
So I live here in the summers and in Killington, Vermont in the winters, and I was at a meeting, and the club in Vermont sponsors students for a ski weekend. And I was sitting at a table with a boy from Germany and another boy from Japan, and I happened to look over at his blazer, and I saw this Martha's Vineyard Rotary pin, like the one Stephanie's wearing. And it's a new pin.
I got one too.
And yes.
I got one.
And I leaned over and I said, "Where did you get that?" Because it was a brand new pin. And he said, "Oh, a young girl gave it to me in Japan. She was staying at my house." So, oh my goodness, it was our student from Martha's Vineyard, and I'm sitting with a boy, and it was in Killington, Vermont, that we had this connection, and we were at the same table. So while it's an enormous world, Rotary makes it this small.
Rotary is international,
yeah.
right?
I'd like to add something to that, because our young lady who's coming this week, just by chance, met our student who was overseas in Japan last year. And they had a chance to talk about Martha's Vineyard, and it's so completely random where someone ends up when they ask to come to the United States. So the fact that our exchange student in Japan was able to kind of lay the groundwork a little bit for this student coming over is terrific, and she's also going to meet her when she arrives here on the island, and I'm sure continue this relationship, which is wonderful. So,
boy, the
yeah.
bonding, I've seen it for so many years, the bonding of the kids, the bonding of the adults, and it's really remarkable that it continues and grows. And speaking of continuing and growing, let's talk about the Atlanta Convention. And my first little bit that I'm going to say is, what an eye-opener. It was my first time. The world was there. And boy, I'll tell you, you had to keep your eyes open because there was something going on every single moment. The speakers were remarkable. The two that really got me were Bill Gates and Andrew Young. Those two speakers were absolutely magnetizing to the issue at the moment. Colleen, why don't you give us your 2 cents?
Ooh, my 2 cents.
3
on
cents.
the
How about 3
okay,
cents?
3 cents.
Yeah.
I think as a Rotarian, to be in an area with 40,000 other people from all walks of life, it doesn't matter what your religion is, your political leanings, anything. You're sitting next to people from all different countries, but you're all there for the same purpose.
Yep.
To do good and to learn about what we can all do and accomplish together as Rotarians. So it's really inspiring. And as you said, Andrew Young is talking about just being good people and good citizens of the world, and Bill Gates is saying the same thing, and celebrating the fact of how far we've come with the eradication of polio, but yet how persistent we need to be to finish that, and we're all in the room together.
Yep.
And just the whole weekend.
Thousands of us.
Yeah, thousands.
That was
Yeah.
the thing.
40,000
Thousands of people in a room. The facility was fantastic. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely, and then to have the opportunity to meet with smaller groups of people in breakout sessions, and many of them to do with projects that are ongoing, but some for new initiatives that have just started, and there might be something that you'd like to mention.
Boy,
was
what
very,
a feat.
yes.
Boy, you set me up
Yeah.
for this, didn't you? Oh, good Lord. That's why she's president this year. What she's referring to is the curing of Alzheimer's. And I'm going to keep it real short and focus on the latest project, which is to determine why women are more predisposed to the disease than men. Down at Duke University, and I don't know if I'm going to say his name right, but there's a Dr. Durazyami who has had some genetic background in studying that issue. And when the Cure Alzheimer's Fund and Rotary International bonded together to generate $375,000 to subsidize this project, Why Women Are More Predisposed Than Men, they were able to select the cream of the crop. This Durazyami fellow, I've met him. He's on top of it, and the whole overview is being run out of Mass General and Rudy Tanzi, and that's a name you may have heard. I'd be surprised if many of you have not heard about the Super Brain show that's on PBS. Rudy Tanzi and Deepak Chopra created that show. The people around that show are involved with these projects that we're so involved in. So what Stephanie was referring to is a new project. It's about women. They have a handle on it. There is traction, and we can actually see a goal line down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if we'd have some surprises for the world sooner than later.
And another thing that happens at these conventions is that you reconnect with people that you've met earlier on, maybe through other projects.
Is that my lead-in?
That's
I was
your
gonna
lead-in.
go, can't we talk about the fact that this project, the Cure Alzheimer's, in case people needed a refresher, that it started with the Martha's Vineyard Rotary Club. So through the efforts of folks like Dick and Dee Lander and Jeff Morby,
Exactly.
we are now in Atlanta sharing this with the world, the Rotary world.
You want me
and
to talk
getting
about the
their-
breakout session?
Sure.
Okay.
Of course.
What is a breakout session? It's focused on a particular issue, and in this case, Alzheimer's. And in this particular case, even define it a little better, the Women's Project. And we had a room set aside at a particular time and date where that room filled up with people. The fire marshal came and closed the doors and wouldn't let anybody else in. And Jeff Morby and The people on the dais explained what was going on. It was so well received, and the message was sent and accepted. And that's kind of what happened throughout the entire time we were there. There were projects that I'd never heard of. You know, all kinds of things, and it's hard for me to remember one. But the wide range of things that Rotary deals with is beyond any imagination. There's no limits, because Rotary these days is so big and so well defined that if you have a subject, if you have something on your mind, get a hold of us here at the Rotary Club if there's something that you'd like to have a project going. We mentioned earlier a meeting on September 6th, right? And it's at night at the barn.
Right.
From 5:30 to 7. And that may be coming back another time as a reminder, but join us. If you have something on your mind, bring it. You know, they say, bring it. Well, bring it. You know? What?
And get her done. Is that what
Yeah, and get her done, too. Yeah, right. Steph, you got anything else?
I just think it was just an amazing opportunity to connect with people all over the world. I look forward to going to the convention next year. Next year it's going to be in Toronto. And
Oh, good. Good. I'm glad you
yeah.
mentioned that. Yep. Next year in Toronto, Canada, and planning on going, right? You're already registered, aren't you?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah.
See what happens? You know, you really get hooked into this stuff, and it's all good stuff. We're not breaking windows. We're not burning buildings. We're not burning people's flags or any of that stuff. We're doing good stuff, helping people go about their lives in a very, very comfortable way. Service above self is the motto. And the three of us and all the members around the world are on the same page. Continuing on with the wide range of charities and events that we are involved with, to my right is Leo Convery. And Leo's been on the island a while, right?
84 years so far.
And
Somebody asked how long I lived here. I said, have you lived here all your life? I said, not yet.
that's a great way to put it. And as you can see, Michael's still with us because he's going to be talking about the Murdoch's run to the chop. But first of all, Leo's on top of membership. We need to grow our membership. Our membership floats in the middle 40s to 50, right around in there. People come, people go, but it's always good to focus on new members, particularly younger members, not 80-year-old guys like these two guys, or 45-year-old guys like these guys, but somebody in the middle, okay? So, Leo, give us a word about membership.
Okay, I'm Leo Convery. I've been a member of Rotary for about 23 years. That's really astounding for me. It's a long period. My daughter was the first female president of the Rotary Club, and she brought me into the club. So I got to thank her for doing that.
That was Susan, right?
That's Susan, right.
Okay.
And, but I'm here to talk about membership. A club is only as good as its members. And Martha's Vineyard happens to have a great dynamic club. And the members are what makes the thing click, it makes it work, and it's everything. As a member of the Rotary Club of Martha's Vineyard, I feel I can help give back to the community. This club works on the basis of service above self and strives to make our community better by working together to help individuals and organizations build a better place to live. We enjoy meeting weekly, every week for lunch, networking with each other, and getting informed about our island by the great speakers we have each week. Working together on different fundraisers for the club builds teamwork and helps form friendships that might otherwise not happen. Rotary International is that extra part that makes a larger connection to something much bigger than ourselves. Rotary International works with every other country in the world to help projects like bringing water to communities that don't have clean water, or trying to eliminate polio on the big picture in the world. And now, thanks to the efforts of the Rotary Club of Martha's Vineyard, we're funding a cure for Alzheimer's. This puts it in perspective. And working together, we can really help make a difference. And that's the best part of Rotary, working together. Getting out to meet people we just don't meet in our normal course of lives. I've lived on the island for a long time. I've been in several different businesses, from the resort business to real estate. And I meet people in Rotary every day who come from a part of the island I don't know too much about, and never had an opportunity to meet before. But being part of a group of men and women who pulled off that great pancake breakfast we had last Sunday at the Anchors is the greatest thing. It's very stimulating, and seeing the determination which ultimately makes the vineyard a better place by working with these people, it's just dynamic. We meet every Wednesday at noon, and as Stephanie said, we're going to have a special meeting on the first Wednesday of each month at nighttime. Good chance for you to come and meet the club, meet our membership, and talk about it, and see if you can't find a way to become a member of our club.
We're reaching out to you. We're actually reaching right out to you guys. Men, women, old, young, makes no difference. If you want to come and see what we're all about, love to have you.
And one other thing I have to say about the club, my granddaughter Mackenzie is going to be one of this year's exchange students. She's going to spend a year in France. And to see these kids come back from after being away is just so heart-rending and dynamic. It just makes you feel good. A lot of things about the Rotary Club. It's a feel-good type of organization.
Well said, Leo. Gee, where'd you come up with that one? That was good.
Yeah, I hope so.
That was real good.
All right.
Michael, you're going to tell us all about Run to the Chop. What are we chopping?
Well, Leo brought up a good point. It's the group of people that we are affiliated with as members of Rotary Club of Martha's Vineyard. Awesome group of people, and it's a good way to learn and meet new faces. And one of the things that I've been involved in for 17 years is Murdoch's Run the Chop Challenge. And every year we've had successful growth. And I became a member of Rotary 7 years ago. And at that point, we made part of the proceeds to the run go to Rotary Club. And when it comes to volunteers, that's what it's all about. You can't put on an event like that without volunteers. I can do whatever I want to do, but without help, it ain't happening. And the help that I get from the Rotary Club is second to none.
How many runners you get?
This year we had a little under 550 register. So,
That's incredible.
Sure is.
And on 4th of July.
That's right.
Yeah, it's great. It's great because the runners are. It's a very low-key race where it's not all about trophies and time. Yes, some people are there to look at the time they run, and they're very proud of those times. And we do have the high school that are keeping track of those times. But for the most part, it's just everybody getting together for a great cause. And of course, 50% of the money goes to the Rotary Club, and the other 50% goes to the Boys and Girls Club. And,
that's great.
And it's a really fun day.
Spreading the money around. But let's get back to the time for a minute. A year ago, you mentioned that you were going to have a new timing device so that everybody could understand their own time. What was that all about?
Well, at the time, we were
yeah, good for you, Mike.
We were right on a threshold of really breaking through as far as raising money. And so we got together, Boys and Girls Club, and myself and a couple other people that are involved in the race, and we decided that after a certain threshold, we were going to take that money and we were going to buy and put it towards a chip timer for the high school track team. And we raised more than enough to pay for that thing in 1 year.
So the high school has that now?
Yes.
Yeah. And we use it at the Murdochs?
We do.
Wow.
We do. And
it all came from the club doing what we do.
Right. Right.
And that's the local part. We've mentioned in the past, local, national, international. So this is a really significant local thing.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that's really great about the race. It's a community effort because it takes a lot of people to put it on.
You had 500 show up to run. How many showed up to volunteer?
45 to 50 probably at least.
Wow.
And,
yeah, giving up their 4th of July morning, getting up, losing breakfast time.
Right.
Out there at
Plus
7
the town of Tisbury offers the police department to guide the runners through the streets of Tisbury. And then the ambulance, the EMTs from the Tisbury Fire Department, they're there and they're cooling off our runners as they come in. It's just an all-out great day. And
it's a mini marathon.
And the most special part of the day is it happens a half hour before the main race. And it's what we call the fun run. And the restriction is you can't be any higher than that. Okay, so we go.
What do you mean that?
It's 12 and
how
up.
you do
3
it?
feet.
Yeah, that's right.
No higher than that. Okay. All right.
But this year we did something really special. We had the kids at the Boys and Girls Club design T-shirts, and then we had 50 T-shirts printed with that design on it, and we gave it to all the kids that ran in the fun run. And so, you know, lots of grins, lots of elbows, lots of knees, and it's just it's a good way to start off the day for the race.
So that when you get done on that given day, you start preparing for the next one, right?
Yeah, pretty much. It's pretty much a format. I'll get up in February sometimes, and I'll pick up the phone, I'll start calling somebody, and I'll go, and then I'll look it up on the internet and go, that's the exact same day that I did this last year.
Isn't that
it's
something?
like, it comes, yeah, it's
And
kind of funny.
how many years? 17, you say?
Yeah, this will be 17 coming up.
17th year coming up.
Yeah.
So keep that in mind, folks. 4th of July weekend, the Murdicks run to the chop, and you're looking at the man that runs the whole show right here.
And I just want to say one more thing, if I
Go for
can.
it. Oh, yeah.
The money is designated for youth programs. And so, yes, the Boys and Girls Club gets half, so that's a youth program. And then the money that goes to Rotary Club also go to youth programs in Rotary Club. And one of those programs is the scholarship that I think the club has done an awesome job with.
With the Diana Bardwell Scholarship?
Yes, that's it. Exactly.
That's the Rotary Club and the Diana Bardwell Scholarship, which provides $2,000 to a high school senior. And that high school senior has a special interest. What is the special interest?
Either law or history.
Either law or history. That's the peanut gallery we have back there, folks.
Right.
Either law or history, and it's $2,000 to the kid that wins that scholarship. And Diana Bardwell was a member of our club who has since passed on, and her family, and thanks, Doug, for keeping the thing going.
The other thing about, you mentioned the finances and raising funds. The club pays for all its own expenses. So the dollars that are raised all go to the charity that we're trying to support.
That's a very good point, Leo. Another thing that we do along the same lines, we have a member, his name is Art Spielvogel, and for a number of years now, Art supplies us with what's known as dictionaries, and you're going to see a visual when you watch this show. And it's a lot more than a dictionary, and the most important part of it is, for most third graders, and that's when we give them out to all the third graders across the island, it's usually the first personal possession that the kid will get from outside the family. And the first page inside, we have the kids sign it on a line provided, and it becomes theirs. So that's another one of the things that we do locally to help the community. So Leo and Michael, thanks very much for helping us out, and we'll be back to you in a minute. It's really hard to overlook the lobsters, right? Those hats represent an effort that we've been running for a number of years now. And Ann Hunt, to my right, is the lady that's leading the charge. Also with us is Michael. You are involved with the golf tournament and the Murdoch's Run to the Chop. And Mike McCourt, solid Rotarian. Ann Hunt, same thing. And as we go forward, I'm going to ask Annie to describe what's been going on with these hats.
Okay, that's my cue.
That's it, yeah.
So here at Rotary, of course, you've already heard about our tremendous international presence and outreach. We also are very committed to the local community, and we raise funds through many different ways throughout the year. And my particular charge is the Great Lobster Raffle. So every year we run a raffle, collect donations at the Harbor Festival, at the Tisbury Street Fair. Members sell tickets, and all of that money that we collect, we use for our charity committee. And throughout the year, we make donations. We have donated to youth leagues. We have donated to Island Initiative for the growth for the food island
Pantry.
food pantry.
Yeah.
CEO, which is a new organization. So we're donating constantly where there's need. And all of the money that we generate, we have a tremendous input from the community. If there is a need, please reach out to Rotary. Let us know of your need. And we would love to help on your community projects as well.
Who's your number one helper?
Should I say you?
No. I'm not talking ticket sales. Last year, before you took it over,
Tom Rosenthal.
Tom has done.
Tom Rosenthal.
He did a setup that was great.
Yep.
And you two guys are doing like rowing a boat. Each one of you guys have an oar, and you're doing a beautiful job rowing this boat in the right direction. How much do we usually raise? What do we gross out of this thing?
We usually gross between $4,000 and $6,000 a year.
Wow. So that's a nice input.
It is. And I know we all have people that we sell our tickets to year after year. The prizes are for seafood at the Net Result, or any kind of food that you'd like to purchase at Net Result. There's a $500 chance, $250, $150, and $100.
So 4 prizes.
So 4 prizes.
Okay.
$20 gets you 10 chances. So pretty good.
A booklet is
$20.
$20.
Yep.
So
And
that
then
money
again,
goes into the charity thing, and we have kids going to college. Like, how do you send a kid to college for $20?
Right.
You can't do it.
Right. And your small donations can come together to create a big impact in someone's life. So really, for me and for the Lobster Raffle, those donations that we collect over a period of 4 to 5 months have a great impact on our island. And I'm very proud to be part of Rotary and part of the Lobster Raffle.
We loved having you, Ann. But I tell you, we got a good crew. She's part of the crew for sure. Michael, golf tournament?
Golf tournament. This will be our third, actually it's like our 19th overall, but our third tournament with partnering up with Community Services. It's been a great partnership. The one thing that Community Services brought to the table is they have a full-time event people that can help us promote the event and work on sponsorships and to help grow the tournament. It's been awesome working with them. It's a great bunch of people. And
2 in specific, right? Amy and then Jessica?
Amy Houghton and Jessica Rogers.
They're kind of like...
and then there's a couple board members that are involved also in the committee.
Okay.
It's been a great group to work with. Very focused and and it's just a lot of enthusiasm. We sit down and we're all work as one. And I think that's really, really good.
Anything special about the golf tournament? Like you mentioned the other day, there were some things that are being added on.
Yeah, we got a couple great. We have a technology that's going to be at the tournament this year, which you see on the Golf Channel, and you'll see it on any PGA tournament, and it's called the Golf Ball Tracker.
Oh, you mean the thing that goes like this?
Yes,
and you
it
can
tells
see.
you the height, speed,
Oh, wow.
the spin,
Height, speed, and spin. Boy.
Yeah, and when I hit that worm burner, that's going to be quite the sight.
I guess.
But no, it should be fun. We have a great sponsor behind that, which really helps. And then also we're going to have this thing called a. I shouldn't let the cat out of the bag, but I'm going to anyway.
No, let the cat out of the bag. This is the time to do it. Go for it.
It's called a golf ball cannon, and ever since I found this on the internet, I've been like geeked out. So this thing will shoot a golf ball anywhere from 250 to 400 yards, and so we're going to set it up, and it'll cost each golfer so much to take a shot at the green with this gun, so this cannon. So I think it'll be a lot of fun. It'll be well supervised, so nobody will get hurt.
And it's a fundraiser too on its own, right?
Yes. Oh, well, the whole day is a fundraiser. We have a silent auction. We have all sorts of items. We have a getaway down in Orlando. From that to NHL jerseys from star players from the past. Yeah, I think it's a great, it's a lot of fun, and a lot of great people involved that are in the tournament. So
it's grown to the point where how many foursomes do you have?
Well, we're limited. It's at the Vineyard course, and we're limited to 100 golfers. So that's 25 foursomes. But it's a nice number, it's controlled, and it gives us a great relationship with the Vineyard course, which is totally private. Mm-hmm. And that's the other thing about this tournament, is it's an opportunity for a lot of people to play on this course they wouldn't have a chance to play on otherwise. So it does a lot of, it's a grin for sure, because it's a really nice course. The staff at the club does an awesome job. The lunch is worth the admission to the tournament, in my opinion. So we're real excited. In fact, we sold out for our third year in a row. So
that's fantastic. And one of the things that the folks don't, it's a lot of work. To set something like this up takes a lot of work. And the next day after it's over, you're starting for the next year. And Michael, you do one heck of a good job with it, and we're all proud of you for doing that.
Well,
and Annie, keep on going with the lobsters.
Will do.
And that's the end of that. And now I have a chance to give the lady to my left a little break, as she requested. Jessica Rogers is with Community Services. And Community Services has a relationship with Rotary, an ongoing, very productive relationship. Jessica.
Yes.
Good to see you today.
Good to see you.
And let's discuss Community Services' mission. If you could address the folks at home.
Sure.
And let them know in basic terms what the mission is for Community Services.
Sure. A very simplified version of our mission is that we are the health and human services safety net for the island. So any problems that one might face, in any other rural community are certainly faced by the population here on Martha's Vineyard.
You said rural community?
Right. So we're, as an island, we're considered to be a
we
rural
are
community.
You get that? We are a rural community.
But we have
guess what?
fun added challenge of also being an island. We're not a normal, your average rural community. We're on an island. So that certainly exasperates the problems that anyone would face just in life. And the Community Services is here to support our families and individuals throughout their life.
Okay, and in basic terms, what kinds of services do they do?
Sure. So
family types of things?
Everything. Basically from, the moment that our littlest vineyarders are born to the elderly population on the island that we all know is growing every day.
Yeah.
We serve everyone from the beginning of life to the end of life and everywhere in between.
So the way it's gone is the relationship between Community Services and the Rotary Club is ongoing, so that you folks can look forward to that as residents here on the island. And with that, thanks for coming, Jessica,
Thank you so
and
much,
being part of our second annual Rotary Review.
Thank you so much for
Okay, you
having
bet.
me.